my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritually Boujee Astrology, and we are going to take a deeper look at the new moon in Taurus. Hear me out. Take a deep breath. Fill your lungs. Feel the compression of your chest release and it fill up real fast. Take a moment with that breath. Think of the things that have been holding you back. Think of the things that have gone wrong since July of last year, that have gone right, that have been shaken up, that have changed. And this one final moment, when you release your breath, I want you to release that vibration, release that energy, and look at where we're going next as the first steps, the first gasping of new air after being tormented, energetically tormented. So many of us, it feels like the last 2 weeks since the full moon in Libra that we have just come out above water and we're taking that first gasp of air. Release it. Let that air fill your lungs. Let the vibration start to hit you differently. And recognize we have some elements of stability. I'm going to say elements because I'm the devil's advocate and I always pay attention to what's going on. And the fact is, we've been through a very huge wave of storms. And it wasn't just one, it's been a multitude of storms, multitude of changes, a multitude of tests, a multitude of setbacks, a multitudes of loss. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. We've had loss of loved ones, loss of people, loss of jobs, loss of our own well-being, loss of our health, loss of homes. There's been loss. And in no way am I going to sugarcoat that. But I also said all of the volatility has been necessary to shift our direction into a new normal. The last 2 weeks has been wonky, shaky steps, little hungover, again, trying to catch our breath. But as we continue, we're now going into a vibration that speaks to stability. Now, again, this is a new moon in Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. It is a fixed earth sign. Stability. Stability. The ruler of this new moon, Venus, also ruled the last full moon that we were in. And in that full moon, she ended her retrograde. Since then, as she's been spinning in the sky, she has now come back into a third and final exact conjunction to Saturn. But they've really been on top of each other all month. It's almost like, moving back home with your dad. I've used this continuous example. Not all of you have moved in with your parents, but hear me out. Like we've found ourselves gravitating towards something or someone that feels responsible, a decision, a career, an opportunity, an individual, family member, relationship, whatever. We gravitated towards something or someone that felt more responsible. And so much of the vibration around this feels like commitments. Now, I'm not being all lovey-dovey, and not all of us are looking at relationships right now. But there is a vibration that speaks to commitments. And we have a lot of things that are going on around the new moon that also speaks to coming to terms, coming to conclusions, coming to the forefront of a new direction, a new path, a new partnership, again, new opportunities. And so much of the weekend going through the new moon, leading up to the new moon, around the new moon, use all your prepositions. There's a human effect that whatever is starting to unfold, whatever is starting to be recognized, whatever is starting to be realized, whatever is starting to be accepted, is going to again be the long-term new normal vibration. And there's a multitude of reasons as to why. So I want to go with the one that I've already discussed. Venus made her third and final conjunction to Saturn. Venus in Pisces is exalted. Now, one of the things I had said back in January, whenever Venus was there as the first time, is like she wanted things to be easy. Look, we can just try these other things. It'll be so easy. We can just give it a shot. Let's try. Let's do. Let's commit. Let's. Come on. It'll be easy. But I said then, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be as easy as we want, because there was still so much testing vibration that needed to come through that was going to show us how easy it was not going to be, because some people were not prepared, were not ready, were not able, were not capable. Venus went into Aries, turned retrograde, came back. And over the course of the last 3 weeks, she has been lingering in a conjunction to Saturn, not completely exact until a few days ago. But Saturn is about rules, law, government, boundaries, contracts, commitments. Saturn likes to do things for the long term. Judgments. Judgments can be in there too. But we also have another thing that's going on between Mars and Pluto. We also have another thing going on between Mars, Pluto, and Uranus. Now, I didn't really talk about this on the week ahead. I did talk about Mars and Pluto by themselves because they were having their third and final opposition, a series of 3 things that started in November, things that we started to do in November, things that we were trying to pick up on between November and December, but we could only get so far. We could only do so much. We could only prepare in so many ways. We could only get so much done. And then it's like the energy shifted us back to the drawing board. Mars went retrograde and went back into Cancer. That had all of its upheaval and changes and work that needed to be done. Some of it was emotional work. Some of it was physical work. Some of it was technological work. We had things to do. Mars has now moved back into Leo, but in addition to that, it is fitting its third and final, closing out a vibration opposition to Pluto. It's also loosely squaring that new moon. It's in the first decan of these signs. Pluto is still in a beginning vibration of what he represents and what he's been triggering and what he's wanting to change in the sign of Aquarius. In addition to that, Pluto is also stationing. So he's getting to a point where fear and frustration is not going to continue to be such a struggle, where fear has controlled so many. We're going to start to find ways to get over that. And now that takes me to the vibration around Uranus. Now, some of you have heard me talk about this before. Others that are starting to listen to me for the first time, you've never heard this concept. And there's transits known as secret transits. And those are anticias and contra-anticias. Now, an anticia is a secret opposition. A contra-anticia is a secret alliance. The Mars-Pluto opposition will also include a contra-anticia between Uranus and Pluto. Pluto again is stationing. Pluto is also in Uranus' sign, as well as an anticia between Uranus and Pluto, or Uranus and Mars, sorry. An anticia between Uranus and Mars. But in addition to that, it's setting the stage in a dynamic of how things are going to go in this full steam ahead energy between now and the next 8 weeks. We have to make commitments now. We have to make decisions now. We have to meet with certain people now. We're feeling compelled to get some things going, feeling like things are starting to finally fall into place. Where we've had so many delays, suddenly there's some green lights. The fairies are on our side. The calls are coming in. The offers are coming in. The meetings are finally happening. Certain things are starting to align slowly. The thing about fixed signs is they're going to go slow. They're not fast. We need slow. We've had too much things going on, too many shakeups for a long period of time. So we need the slow at first. We need to be able to slowly take our seats, slowly look at a contract, slowly look at the opportunities before we settle into something. Because again, we are settling into a new normal, and this is going to be lasting for a very long period of time. Many of the decisions that we are making through the last 2 weeks of April going into this new moon, in a lot of ways, we're going to go start coming back to them at the end of the year. And whatever we come back to at the end of the year is either going to be starting over again because we made 1 or 2 bad decisions, or we're going to be coming back to this energy ready to level it up into something newer, stronger, and more vibrant. So being cautious and careful and making the right decisions in this moment is very, very necessary. So nothing's moving quickly. And in a lot of ways, that's a good thing. Take your time before you make the commitments. Now, the Mars Pluto opposition by itself, Mars is ready to finally get into new territory. And after this Mars Pluto opposition, he will. As we go into the 1st of May, he will leave shadow. And he's going to finally go into new stuff that he wanted to get into 5, 6, 7 months ago, but we couldn't get something together. Something went stagnant, something went wrong, something changed. But we're going to make some commitments that is going to allow for something to finally progress, allow for something to finally take shape and move along and go in a new direction. And many of us are going to have to get over the fear of not having control of certain things. We're going to have to relinquish certain responsibilities to other people. You got to delegate. You have to trust whoever you're starting to work with, whoever you're starting to build with, whoever you're starting to do things with, wherever you are committing to, because it's not always about a person. Sometimes it's about a place. It's a business. Some of you, all of the shakeups that we've had to deal with over the last few months has been about someone's health. And now we're having to start focusing on and trusting new doctors. You're having to trust a lawyer. Venus and Saturn. You're having to trust that someone else can be as responsible as you are. Or they can be responsible for the things that you're not comfortable with doing. I don't want to say capable, comfortable. Sometimes you just got to recognize your shortcomings. Like, you know what? I can build something all day long, but don't give me a sewing machine. I'm going to mess it up. I don't know what to do with it. Could I learn? Sure, I could be capable. But in the moment of trying to do what's best, I'm not comfortable. So I need to trust the other who we're making our commitments to. We have to trust that this company is the right fit. This doctor is going to do what he says he's going to do. That the responsibility that is being put onto other people, that is being entrusted into other people, or being entrusted into you, is going to be handled appropriately. Some of you are relinquishing power. Some of you are accepting the responsibility in the Mars-Pluto opposition. Some of you are having to let go of power, Pluto. Some of you are having to charge ahead into something, Mars. Now, with both of those planets going through a secret conjunction or opposition, Antiscia versus contra-Antiscia to Uranus, well, Uranus is about to leave shadow too. That happens in May. And some of you, you're going to hear me say this stuff again. But as Uranus goes to leave shadow later on, we're going to, again, finally start to pick up on new vibrations and new focus. There's a lot of new taking shape. We are going through a new normal that is going to take a year and a half to fully show up and get moved into. So we're in stages. We're at the starting line of some new progress in this new moon. We have to be comfortable with the new commitments. We have to be comfortable with who we are aligning ourselves with. We have to be comfortable with the new power dynamic. Because when it comes to Mars and Pluto, that's power, baby. When it comes to Saturn, going into that conjunction with an exalted Venus, that's empowered. So whenever we go into this new moon in Venus's sign, where she is exalted, where she is willing to connect, where she is willing to finally trust, and where she wants things to be easier and nicer and gentler, we have to just trust a little blindly. Now, that can be a little romanticized, of course. But we're in a step, a process of full steam ahead. And for us to even start getting the wheels going, we have to make a commitment. We have to come to terms with something. We have to agree on something. We have to accept responsibility. We have to hire it out. We have to contract it out. We have to make the appointments and show up. We got to do what we got to do. And we have to do it knowing that as we continue forward, the fear, the frustration of the unknown will slowly start to dissipate in the weeks that follow. Now, one other specific side note, whenever it comes to the antiscia between Uranus and Mars. An antiscia is a secret opposition. It's an indirect opposition. You can't see it clearly. You have to mathematically do it, and I'm not going to explain the math right now. Just trust me on it, okay? The next 6 to 8 weeks is full steam ahead vibration. But as we get to that middle ground of the 6 to 8 weeks, we are also going to land in the final markers between Uranus and Mars. Now, this is important. The volatile energy that started in July started with the Mars-Uranus conjunction. We still have some vibrations, some ripple effects that are going to go back to last summer. Things, again, that started to take shape last year. I'm just going to say all of it, last year. That as we're picking back up on them now and we're taking them forward, there's still going to be some unexpected vibration. And whatever we're starting to do right now is going to have a direct impact to whatever we start to deal with roughly around June 13th to June 20th, whenever we have our final Uranus-Mars square. Because that will be their final aspects while Uranus is still in Taurus. We're solidifying something. For a lot of people, it's an unexpected vibration. It's not where we plan to be. Again, a year ago, 2 years ago, where we are right now was not the part of the original plan. But that doesn't mean that we're in the wrong place. It just meant that parts of the original plan wasn't going to work out. And we needed to get realigned to be prepared for this. We needed to go through the pressure test. We needed to go through the change. We needed to go through whatever we had to go through. I know it sucked. And I'm not sugarcoating that at all. Okay. If you have never heard a new moon or full moon video with me before, that is completely okay. The way I look at it is I don't care if your ascendant is at 2 degrees or 22 degrees. Wherever your ascendant is, that entire zodiac sign is your first house. So, and every numerical house that follows is going to be associated with the next zodiac sign. So for a lot of people, what that can also mean is that you need to recognize that The astrology is not necessarily written for your sun sign. It's more often written for your rising sign. And if you listen to both rising and sun, sometimes moon, especially if you were born at night, you're going to get a better holistic perspective of what you're dealing with. So there's that. Okay. Let's get into the charts. Let's get into Aries and Aries risings. All right, my loves, this is a new moon in your second house of money, your assets, your stuff. But Venus, the ruler of this, is in your 12th house. Some of you are going to have to sell something to make some money. Some of you are going to be closing up shop in one location, closing out plans in one location, so you could invest it in somewhere else. Now, Pluto's in your 11th house of friends and network and clients and colleagues. You might have something going on that's impacting a group of people. If you're selling a business, that's going to impact a group of people. But it's going to allow for new creative endeavors, new relationships, new partnerships, new ways of doing things moving forward now that Mars in your 5th house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. Now that Mars is going to finally reach elements of full steam ahead going through Leo. Now, he's not leaving shadow yet. He didn't leave shadow until we get into May. And I'll cover that in the month ahead forecast. But this is his last final, pick up hurrah from the final stuff that allows for clear momentum and full steam ahead. The checkered flag has been waved, the whistle has been done, and he's moving on. Oh, and many of us are now going down a new path that we did not necessarily consider before. But it's exactly what we need to do. There's so much energy that speaks to new for you guys, and that makes much sense. Like your cards all speak to this. But some parts of you has to realize the new path, the new direction of where you're going means having to leave some people behind. Now, that's not easy for a lot of you. So many of you get to points where you're just very stuck in your ways and you don't want to move. Some of you get to the point that you're either head first into conflict, head first into something, or you're trying to, convince yourself that this is the right way to go. Now, some of you don't even know what you're stepping into. And again, Venus and Saturn in your 12th house, the unknown, the unseen, and endings, foreign lands, uncharted territory, a whole lot of vibration, responsibility in ways that we had not anticipated. Some of us are even focused on loss or death because of the 12th house vibration. It does not have to be yours. It can have to do with a family member. The one thing that I have said repeatedly that now that Neptune is moving into your 1st house, which he's been here now for a few weeks now, is that so much of the vibration around you guys is changing. And now your focus is really shifting. Neptune in your 1st has this vibration in regards to either inspiring new ideas, inspiring new ways of doing things, inspiring the new direction. We have a couple cards here that speak to new. We got that Fool card. We've got this Ace of Cups. We also have the Two of Wands. I'm going to put all 3 of these up. New, new, new. Now, the thing about the Two of Wands is like we've been going down one path for so long. This is the way. This is it. This is it. This is it. Then shiny new comes through like, oh, wait, which way do I go? For a lot of people, the way that you go is the new, because again, we have this Ace of Cups and we have the Fool card. So much of what you are doing moving forward is new vibration, new achievements, new desires, new steps forward. Again, so many of you can get very stuck in a mentality. The Emperor can be a reflection of you being stuck in your ways in some aspects. Some of you gets very stuck, but some of you get very stuck in your mind about a goal, very fixated because of the ambition of Mars. Some of you might be stuck dealing with a new concept again around treatments, around medicine, Neptune in your first. For some of you, it's not having to do with inspiration at all. It's having to do with a new form of treatment, new forms of medicine. The Emperor. What I don't want it to be for you guys is new lies, fraud, and deception. Don't lean into that. Don't look at your world as something that is fictitious. Do the things to keep yourself grounded, to keep yourself in your Emperor mentality. Because this long-term vibration can be very detrimental if we don't do certain things to keep ourselves in check. And I want to be clear about that. Now, the thing about the last full moon, the Libra full moon, and this new moon in your second house, they're both ruled by Venus. And Venus, again, is still in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. Some of you are going to have to make the long-term decision, going back to this Emperor card, to leave something or someone behind with the Four of Cups. You're going to have to stop worrying about what could have happened in a relationship, what could have happened in that partnership, what could have happened in some way. Had I not ruined it, had I not been so stubborn, had I not said what I said. Some of you are going to have to be okay with the fact that where we're going next is exactly what it needs to be. And you need to make the best of the current situation, of your current needs, of the current outlook, and not be so focused on the what ifs, on the past, on what could have happened. Because whenever you get stuck worrying about the missed opportunity, that Four of Cups vibration, you get stuck worrying about this, then you're going to miss the happiness that can unfold in front of you as your luck is shifting with this Ten of Cups. Now, many of you are going into timelines of new things tied to your health and new treatments. And I know that because we've talked about it. We've literally talked. And if you're in dire situations of treatment or care, again, I want you to do everything to make the best of where you're at now, where you have landed now, where your needs are now. And with that 10 of Cups vibration, it speaks to making the best of what you have remaining, of where you're going next, and trusting the new people that are coming in, because the ones that are starting to come in now, the ones that you're connecting to now, the way things are coming around now, they're much better for you. And if you've had somebody that has been hesitant in the past, they weren't ready to quite commit to look at everything the way that you had been, be prepared for some of them to come back around. Be prepared for some of them to finally make some decisions and start to tell you what those decisions are. And this is going to be more in the relationship sense, whether it's good or bad. It might not be directly in this new moon. It might actually follow over the next few days, going into like the first few days of May. So literally this week. But a lot of you are going to have something come back around, or someone come back around from the past, someone that has been hesitant, giving you a new insight into their decision making. And again, our goal is to be happy as we can be in ourselves, just as much as to the other side. So if something doesn't work out with them, that's a blessing. If something does work out with them, that's a blessing. Be aware of that. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Taurus and Taurus risings. It's all your fault. Oh, my Tauruses. Look, this is a new moon in your first house. Your mind, your body, your identity. You are the problem. I'm just going to keep joking and saying that, but you're the problem. It's all your fault. Now, Venus, your chart ruler, just made a conjunction to Saturn in your 11th house of friends and network and clients and colleagues. But then Venus is going to go into your 12th house again, the unknown, the unseen, uncharted territory. And I need you guys again to remember, you got to get real comfortable with being uncomfortable. Been saying that for a while. And a lot of you are about to go into some very uncharted territory whenever it comes to who we're making commitments to. We're going into something new. We're going to be working with different people. And again, what we're going to be working on, what we're going to be working towards, it's going to be very, very new. And you guys like to be confident and comfortable with what you're going into. And I'm saying that can come in the long run, but there's still going to be some things that you're going to need to figure out in the unknown, in the uncharted, in the unexpected kinds of ways. And some of you are still going to struggle with whether you want to be seen publicly or not for a while. And that would make sense because you still had a lot of things going on in your 12th house, and your chart ruler is about to come back into your 12th house. So some of you are still going to want to take some time to figure some things out in the long run. But you're also still coming to terms with making a decision of what you want to do next. And some of you just need to take a step back from everybody so that way you can work on what you need to work on, or take care of some business that you didn't realize you were going to need to take care of. Now, some of you are going into, again, new uncharted territory. Some of you are going to go into some final rounds of closure and clearing. And given that Mars rules your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings, and now Mars is going to go do some big work in your 4th house of home life, and family. And one of the cards you just got is the Tower card, by the way. It tells me that we've got some things that are going to come through that are going to really impact structures or home life or family. Now, I want to be clear, because I'm going to start with this Tower card. Venus does have to go through your 12th. You have to be either committed to releasing something or committed to doing something unstable, or some of you are going to be committed to finally letting go of certain controls whenever it comes to members of the family. Please note how I said that specific term. The Tower is the only card that actually references a structure. Mars is now in the 4th house. Home life, family, roots, ancestry, mothers, genetics. Some of the things that are going to start to come through, whether they're your decision or not, might be something that literally impacts the family, impacts the household, impacts everybody. But that doesn't mean that you're making the wrong decision. Some of you might be getting some new opportunities that are going to come through that you feel like if you do not take them, 5 of Cups vibration, if you do not take this new energy, this new opportunity, this new thing, that we're always going to stay stuck in some area of loss, in some area of not having things go our way. So we have to stay very focused on that new while also still processing. We're going to have to clear some things out. Now, that might literally mean you're selling the family home to move for a job, to move into some kind of new opportunity, to move into some new career. And again, we're going into that level of uncharted territory. We have this Wheel of Fortune energy because we've accepted something. We've made the decision for some level of acceptance. And the 6 of Coins speaks to that give and take. I'm taking this opportunity knowing that it's going to provide so much more for my family. It's going to be the smart move financially. It's going to be the smart move in the way that we're going. It is going to help us walk away from the things that have no longer given pleasure, no longer given us sustenance. It has no longer helped us feel like we've been able to be comfortable. I've said this before. With Uranus in your 1st house, and this is the final timeline, this year and a half of the new normal. This is also that final timeline of trying to figure out like the new forms of independence that you wish to reach that are going to really turn into big financial opportunities for you later. You again have to be very confident and comfortable with getting into some unknown situations, going into new vibration, going into new territory. That means for some of you, that's moving to another state, moving to another country, moving to another place. I've got a stowaway in my room I didn't know I had. If you hear a bell, it's a cat. um, we've got new vibrations coming through. It's time, Wheel of Fortune. It's time for this new. It's time for this new opportunity to be taken. It is time for this new exchange. It is time for you to do the new things that is going to allow for you to live the comfortable life that you wish to live. But that means really, in so many ways, you have to be very comfortable with being uncomfortable for a while. You're used to being so sure of all of your decisions and all of the things that you want to do. And the thing is, that's not going to work out for you guys the same way. You have to try the new. You have to trust the new. You have to trust that what you're doing for yourself to reach this new form of personal independence is everything that you've desired. It's everything that you've worked towards and that you deserve it. And in the long run, yeah, it's going to be hugely beneficial for you financially. That's a good thing. Just go towards the new. If you have to let go of some old fears, some old insecurities, I understand that. You still are in a vibration of being comfortable with the uncomfortable for just a little while longer, but it's not going to be forever. Just trust me on that. Okay, moving along. We're going to get to Geminis and Gemini risings. Oh, my loves. This is a new moon in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, endings, betrayal, closing something out. Now, the ruler of this new moon, Venus, is in your 10th house of career, public image, your goals for the future. There is a very big likelihood that something is changing very deeply at work in the career aspect. It's changing your dynamic and it is changing the way that you are seeing things moving forward into the future. There's new opportunities coming through. There's new vibrations coming through. And whenever we start to accept what that potential is going to look like, it is going to allow for certain truths to come to the surface. And I'm not going to sugarcoat, a new moon in the 12th house is not always easy, but it does allow for a lot of closure to come through. And as we continue, a new path will start to emerge. Now, it might not emerge in the new moon. For some of you, it might. But for others, it might not. And just be aware of that. There's a lot of opportunity that's very likely to come through from people that we are not anticipating. Some of us might feel like we've gotten skipped over in some ways. It's not necessarily the truth. Some of us might feel like everything has to come to an end one more time. We have to cut some people off. We have to tell that boss off. We have to, again, speak some kind of truth so that way we can finally get to a better place within ourselves. So we can finally get to a better point in dealing with Saturn in Pisces, Saturn in that 10th house of career. And some of us just need to, again, be able to speak some kind of truth. Now, this is the Page of Swords. What I'm looking at is that Mercury, your chart ruler, is in your 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. This is a new moon in the 12th. Venus right now in your 10th house of career, but she is also about to move into that 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. So some of the new opportunities, some of the new information, some of about what's about to come through is going to allow for new directions to come forward, new paths. The thing about the Two of Wands is we've been on one path for a while, one direction for a while, and now a new opportunity can start to come through. So many of us have a new opportunity, new commitments, new connections, new friendships, new responsibilities. We also have this Hierophant card that are going to start to come through that is going to allow for certain things to finally be achieved. Here's the Six of Wands. Now, I want to go back to this Page of Swords, and I'm going to stick it with the Six of Wands. So we've still got, familiar cards up here. As the opportunities come through, Certain truths are going to finally be able to come out. That is going to lead to certain things kind of crumbling and falling apart. Now, that might not be immediate, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that you got the Tower card, and this is a 12th house new moon. If you're leaving something, if you're walking away from something, if you're walking away from an opportunity, if you're walking away from a partnership, if you're walking away from a business, if you're walking away from a toxic boss, you're not going to go try to go back and get your new job tomorrow. The whole idea is that we're walking away from something for the long term so we can start to go down a new path. We've already had this Two of Wands, but I'm showing you again, and reach a new level of personal gains, personal opportunity, and drive and ambition with the King of Wands. Now, some of you, it is the King of Wands that's offering you the new opportunity. It's showing you the new path. And it's going to be somebody that you wish to follow and trust and believe in, because they're going to set the stage for, again, a new form of achievement. There's new opportunities coming through in and around this new moon. Doesn't always have to be direct to the new moon. And it's going to allow for you to make decisions to cut off, break away from, and leave certain people behind. And the longer we go through things tied to the 12th house, the more we can heal. Heal from the past, heal from the wounds, heal from the toxic boss, heal from the toxic friendships, heal, even if healing doesn't look like healing in the moment. But there's a lot of things that need to be healed from, because as we go into summer, most specifically with you guys, as we go into summer, you have a whole different level of individuality that you're going to start stepping into the second half of this year. And for you to get confident and comfortable with that new, we've got to let go of some things. We have to end some things. We got to release some things. And again, whatever we are willing to release, whatever opportunities are coming through that'll allow us to run away from certain situations and certain patterns, that's going to be hugely beneficial for you in the long run. Snip, 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 snip. Do what you need to do. Okay, let's move along. We're going to get to Cancers and Cancer risings. Okay, my loves. Now, this is a new moon in your 11th house of friends, network, clients, colleagues, people you like to share space with. Venus, the ruler of the new moon, is making a conjunction to Saturn in your 9th house, higher education, higher learning, travel, institutions. Now, when I say institutions, that can be anything. That can be a department store. That could be a government building. That can be a library. That can be a hospital. That could be a prison. That could be a university. Some of you are going to be accepting a new position that's going to allow for you to connect to people in a whole different way. It's going to allow for you to start to see certain elements of the energy in a whole different way. And it's going to allow for you to finally unburden yourselves in regards to financial frustrations. Now, why do I say that part? Because the Mars Pluto opposition is in your 2nd and 8th house, and these are financial houses. And we are in a much better position moving forward of achieving something, given the way things are going to go. Now, Venus and Saturn in the 9th, we could be traveling somewhere with the hopes of meeting, again, a new person. That new person can also influence how things are going to go for the future, because what is Venus going to do after this week? Oh, she's going to go back into your 10th house of career and make her 3rd and final conjunction to Neptune. And there's opportunities that are coming. There are certain things that are finally starting to fall into place. And for many of you, you're starting to feel a lot more empowered. Even if it's not directly in the new moon, over the weeks ahead, you will feel more empowered, and you will feel more capable, and you will feel like more things are falling into place for you in a way that they haven't fell in a long time. So some of you are just waiting for the right opportunity to just kind of fall into place. And that's okay. I expect some new opportunities to come through around this new moon. You got the Tower card too. You guys are the third ones. Oh, we're going to have to still deal with some loss. We're still going to have to deal with some frustrations. But with you guys, it's very likely that it's not just you directly. It's actually going on with the people around you. Again, you're the third person, your third group to get the Tower card. But we also have this Three of Wands. Some of you, if you are not the one going through some type of loss or breakdown, I think if it is loss for you directly, it's a long time coming because Mars was in your first house for so long that now we can finally make certain commitments, especially if it's a financial decision to walk away from certain situations. And again, it still can be an opportunity that's going to come through. With the Three of Wands, this is a man standing on a deck, but we can't tell in the distance if the boat is coming or going. We can't tell if the light is sunrise or sunset, but it doesn't matter if something is being sent off or is about to come in. You're exactly where you're supposed to be because you're meant to be there to support people in your surroundings. Three of Wands vibration, even with this Tower card. So I want to be clear. Some of you are about to unburden yourselves, and this goes to this 10 of Wands card. Some of you are at a point that you're going to be able to release certain financial burdens. Some of you are going to have certain big new opportunities come through that is going to, again, impact you majorly financially. And it is going to help you either support another person as certain things start to like fall away for them, or it's going to put you in a better position to handle as things start to fall away. It's like every time something goes wrong, money manifests. And there's a whole new mental vibration for you guys going forward because it's not so much about emotions right now. It's about the truth. And with the Queen of Swords, that really speaks to we are focused on the facts, the figures, the receipts, the opportunities, the way it looks in writing, the way things need to go moving forward. And so many of you are looking at harnessing your own strength as well as being the support, going back to this Three of Wands vibration, being able to be that support for the other people that surround us. So again, we're speaking to something that speaks to strength. Your other card is this Three of Coins energy. Again, Mars is in your second house of money. Pluto's in your eighth house. Death, debt, taxes, inheritance, finance, loans. There's something here that it's like the other side finally gives up fighting and it allows for you to have some type of financial change. Something else finally pays out and it allows for you to finally invest in a certain way. You start to go ahead and purchase the new property or purchase the new material or sign the lease with the intention that you're going to make every single payment on time. So there's a financial element here just as much as there is the potential of like new neighbors, new people in your surrounding. There's something going on at work where we're accepting the new position, accepting the new assignment, accepting the new contract, switching our position over into another department, taking on the promotion, knowing that it's going to change the way other people see us because Venus is again going to go back into the 10th. There is a shift. And in some ways, it's going to lead to things coming to a close. But for you guys, the Tower card doesn't feel negative. It feels empowering. I'll leave this behind and I'll go do something else. Doesn't make it any harder for me to handle. I'm capable. I've already dealt with all the bullshit. I've already dealt with all the drama. I'm ready. Show me the money. Show me the opportunity. Show me what's next. Let's go. So in a lot of ways, as the new opportunities, the new facts, the new figures, the new receipts, the new position, the new comes through, it's like it's so easy. Let's go. There's a new commitment coming in for many of you. Might not again happen exactly on the new moon, but it's a much better long-term position for you. And that's a good thing. Okay. Moving along, moving along, moving along. We're going to get to Leos and Leo risings. Oh, my loves. This is a new moon in your 10th house of career, your goals, public image. Now, that contra-antisicia and antiscia is going to be a little interesting for you guys because with Mars in your first hitting that opposition to Pluto, a lot of you are fed up with how someone else is acting. And as we go through this weekend, we're going to be like ready to tell somebody, you're not going to be a part of my life anymore. You're not going to be my friend anymore. I'm not going to trust them anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. And you don't realize, like, in that moment of saying, I'm not doing this anymore, how much that's going to impact the future. Because again, it's the new moon in the 10th house. Now, the ruler of this new moon, Venus, is in your 8th house, which is a financial house. Other people's money, death, debt, taxes, inheritance, opportunities. And some of you are going to have a new opportunity coming through that it's like you've been stuck waiting for forever. And now that it's finally coming through, it's almost irritating. Mars in the first. It's like, what took so long? Why now? I've been waiting for this promotion forever. I've been waiting for this, job opportunity forever. I've been waiting for this transfer forever. Why now? Well, because again, it's now the time for the new path, the new opportunity. It's now the time to get over that stuck energy. And as frustrating as it has been to be stuck, it is definitely time to get unstuck. Thing about Mars and all the time it's spent in Cancer is that that's the 12th house. And for so many of you, you had to get reclusive, you had to withdraw, you couldn't connect to people the same way. And even if you did try to connect with them, it was like no matter what you said, it was speaking fish. But you're a lion, so that doesn't work. So what's going on? And so many of you have been very, very stuck, waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to finally come through. And now that certain things are finally starting to come through, again, there can be some irritability. 5 of Wands. I'm not going to sugarcoat this weekend. There's very likely going to be very big irritability inside of Leo risings with Mars now in your first, making that opposition to Pluto. Pluto is starting to station, so there could be a certain irritability that we have with a certain person or a certain situation that it's like, I'm tired of waiting on you to care. I'm tired of waiting on you to do your part, to do what you said you were going to do. I'm tired of you not keeping your commitments, and I'm going to go do something on my own. And given that, again, Mars is going to leave shadow and completely go through Leo over the course of the next month and a half, that makes a lot of sense. Pluto's going to station to go retrograde. Pluto's going to be at a point where it turns and goes in another direction. Some of you are at a point that you're ready to cut off something with someone and make them go in a different direction. Now, this takes me to this King of Swords. Now, for some of you, you're speaking the truth. That's exactly what needs to happen. And tell them off if you need to tell them off. Tell them no, tell them goodbye if that's the case. You're tired of waiting. That's one element. But again, this is a new moon in the 10th, and Venus and Saturn hit a conjunction in your 8th house, which is again a financial house for you. Death, debt, taxes, inheritance, loans, insurance, payouts, payoffs, child support. The Venus-Saturn conjunction can be some kind of new idea, new opportunity, new truth, King of Swords, in regards to financial concepts, financial obligations. Now, again, it could be a promotion, 10th house full new moon, while Venus is in a conjunction in the 8th house, because Venus rules the 10th. Some of the opportunities can lead to new positions. And some of you, again, have been waiting for so long, it's almost irritable that you are so irritated by how long it took. Some of you don't even want to take the position. Like, no. Why now? I've been here forever. I've done everything forever. I've helped forever. I did what I was supposed to do forever. Why now? Because again, it's time. For so many people, it's time. And that takes me to the next 3 cards. We have the 2 of Wands. A couple people have had this 2 of Wands now. We've been going down one path for so long, and now another opportunity is there. And there, for many people, we're going to be looking at another opportunity. We're looking at that other position. We're looking at that other company. We're looking in this other direction. We're looking for something to happen. And if we take this new opportunity, irritable about the situation or not, if we look at this new opportunity, so many of us are going to have stability. Finally, that's going to follow. We have the Four of Wands. Now, I always look at the Four of Wands as like chair legs. You want all four chair legs even on the ground before you put your ass on the seat, because if not, you're going to fall on your face. Yeah, that's the Four of Wands vibration. Followed by this Four of Wands, we also have the World card. Now, the World card is like the amplification of the Fool card. The Fool goes through the entire hierarchy, the higher major arcana. And then at the end of the major arcana, the World card goes into the suits. This is on a higher octave of potential, of overcoming, of being seen, of being able to achieve. And it's got a public display to it. This is a new moon in your 10th house of career, goals, public image. There can be a very public display. Some of you might want to start making physical changes in yourself, knowing that it's going to implicate and shift the way we see things into the future. If you're going into this vibration feeling a little irritable, I would say take a few days before you take certain meetings if you can avoid it. Allow for certain things to manifest naturally and easily. Knowing that whatever new opportunities are starting to unfold right now, again, can be a whole different form of stability for you with that Four of Wands vibration. The new person, the new job offer, the new position. I know you've waited for so long, but for many of you, stability is going to follow. And we're going to finally get to a point of not feeling so stuck in certain situations. And that's a good thing. Okay. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Virgos and Virgo risings. Oh, my loves. Now, this new moon is in the 9th house. Not a crazy place for you. Long distance travel, higher education, higher learning, institutions. Now, institutions can be anything. It can be a library. It can be a bank. It can be a university. It could be a prison. Some of you are specifically looking at traveling, 9th house new moon, to meet a new business partner. Now, why do I say that? Because I'm looking at the Venus Saturn conjunction in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, legal matters. Some of you are going through a learning experience from another person, from another side, but it can also have a financial element to it also, because your chart ruler, Mercury, is in your 8th house. Debt, taxes, finances, shared assets, shared resources, shared money. So we can be meeting with someone about financial issues. Got to go meet the tax accountant. I thought the taxes were supposed to be filed already, Dusty. I know that. That doesn't mean anything. It's just an idea. It's just a suggestion. Now, many of you are also going to have to do some things in some uncharted territory. Now, why do I say that? Because the ruler of your 8th, where your chart ruler is right now, Mars, is in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. Whoever you're starting to work with, whoever you're starting to meet, whoever you're starting to talk to about this thing that you started working on last fall, last winter, last year, just say it that way, you don't know them. They're not familiar to you, but they're giving you perspective of what's going to happen moving forward. They're helping you overcome certain fears and frustrations on things moving forward. And they're going to look at all the work that you've done so far and give some kind of judgment. In so many ways, a judgment. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be a negative judgment. It doesn't mean that it's going to be bad. It just means that we're in a position of having prepared for something for a very, very long time. Now, there's a reason why I'm saying that. We're going to start off with this Knight of Coins. The thing about the Knight of Coins is it's very Taurus vibration, slow moving energy. I want to be sure. I want to be sure that this is the right person, that this is the right connection, that this is exactly what we want to do, that we're all on the same page. I want to be sure. We've done a lot of work to prepare for where we're at right now, to prepare for who we're connecting to right now. And that doesn't mean that connections are bad. These are the heaviest two cards that you have, and these aren't even heavy, by the way. But so many of you are connecting with new people this week that is going to, one, help you heal. Two, help you get over frustrations. Three, help you get over fear. Four, help you deal with certain things that you didn't recognize before. And again, help you do more work to prepare for what new things lie ahead. And many of you, as you start to work with new people, trust new people, you're also going into some very big uncharted territory moving forward, because Mars is in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen endings. But for a lot more people, given all the new that we're going into, it's uncharted territory. And some of the people that we're going to be trusting moving forward, King of Coin, they have all the desire to help us do well, to help us do something well, to help us work towards something and achieve something and be happy in the success. The Three of Cups is a very happy card. It's a celebratory card. We follow this with the Nine of Cups. Again, happy, lucky. I always say the Nine of Cups, it's better to be lucky than smart. And I actually got that from a man named Chester Cadew, and he's the man that actually created a chain of gas stations called Quick Trip. That's the name of his book. It is better to be lucky than smart. Nine of Cups. Some of the people that you are going to start to work with, that you're going to start to meet, that you're going to start doing things with, you're lucking into them in some way. We're doing something that feels lucky. But by connecting, Three of Cups, by celebrating, by working towards something, luck is on our side. The benefits of the luck, the benefits of everything that we've done is on our side. And what follows is exactly what we wish to achieve. It's that 10 of Coins vibration. We want the perfect tens. We want the things that give us happiness, hope, abundance, prosperity. 10 of Coins vibration. Whatever did not work out before, during, so, over the course of the retrogrades, that's okay. Because now that Mars is back in Leo, we're able to pick back up on what we were working on before, what we were exploring and stepping into before. And for many people, that's going to be some uncharted territory. But it is allowing us to finally overcome certain fears. And who we start connecting with and who we start trusting and who we are building with now is more focused on the long-term gains and more accepting of all of the hard work and preparation that you have been doing for months. And as you start to step into new things and challenge yourself, you're also overcoming the fear of uncharted territory. And that's a good thing. There's a new direction and new ways of meeting people and connecting with people that is unfolding over the course of the long term in this new moon for you guys. And that's a good thing. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Libras and Libra risings. Okay, my loves. This is a new moon in your 8th house, which is a financial house. Death, debt, taxes, inheritance, commitments, and financial things tied to other people. And for some people, whatever starts to unfold here, this is a long time coming. Now, Mars is back in your 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. Right now, Venus has been making a conjunction to Saturn, which is in your 6th house of health. So some of you are having to deal with work things or health things, a long-term shift in your routine that is going to make you very focused on either partnerships as Venus goes back into Aries, which that's just a few days away. And Venus, of course, is your chart ruler. That's why we're talking about her. contracts, commitments, relationships. And some of what starts to unfold in this new moon can create new disruptions with the people around you. That's interesting because with you guys, it feels very, very different than it does with the other signs I've tuned into so far. It feels very different for the Libra risings, but we're also getting into a better position in a lot of ways. And there can be a lot of epiphanies that follow, a lot of things that we didn't know. So much of the last few months has been crazy. I shouldn't say last few months for you guys, really since July of 2023. So the last nearly 2 years has just been crazy for you guys. And now where we're starting to go into is finally going to allow for new things to come through. And it's either going to be new long-term partnerships, new long-term contract obligations, new long-term opportunities, or a new long-term path that is starting to unfold, because you guys are like the fourth or the fifth ones that have gotten the Two of Wands. So I'm going to start with this. We've been on one path for a while. We had one idea of how certain things are going to go, but now a new path and a new opportunity are going to start to come through. But the way it kind of comes through can be based off of some kind of new information and new opportunity that just gets revealed. Now, I want to put the Ace of Cups and the Star card with this Two of Wands. The Star card is the awakening energy following a Tower card. It's very much an embodiment of like spiritual awakening. After everything in your life crumbles, after everything is gone, after everything is lost, that new version of you that comes through, the awakened, the empowered, the healed. There is something that is following frustrating vibration that is going to allow for new things to come through with this Ace of Cups. So be expecting a new opportunity, even if it's not one that you thought was going to come through, that was going to present itself. Now, we have this Queen of Cups vibration. This feels very steady with you guys. I'm saying that because Venus did make that long-term conjunction to Saturn. So we've been trying to get something committed and get something working. And once we can make a certain kind of commitment, Queen of Coins, we can also start to push forward a new path, a new direction with someone else in our surroundings. So Knight of Wands. Mars, the ruler of your 7th house of relationships, is in the 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. As Venus comes back into the 7th house, it hits that first conjunction to Neptune. There's a new opportunity that's meant to finally take shape that is going to impact our friendships. It's going to impact groups of people, the children of others. It is going to have a bigger wave and impact that's going to follow. And there is going to be a drive, an ambition, a momentum, a forward movement that starts to unfold that for some people, it's going to be hectic and crazy. And I'm going to say that. I'm not sugarcoating it. I feel it. But its intensity feels empowering. So that's where I'm at with the Knight of Wands. And I feel like the Knight of Wands can even go back with that Star card, given everything that's going on. It's like something else needs to come to light in this aftermath situation for other paths to be obtained and achieved. But our long-term goal for everything that we're working towards, again, is this 10 of Coins vibration. It's our perfect tens. Love, luck, prosperity, legacy. It helps us. It helps our spouse. It helps our family. It helps everyone and everything. 10 of Coins vibration. So we're stepping into something. We're looking at something that is going to lead to new long-term decisions, long-term ambitions, long-term commitments, long-term friendships, trust, moving forward. And for some people, it's going to be a new opportunity that presents itself. Some of you have already put yourself into the new path, going back to the first card, that Two of Wands. You've already chose the new path. And now it's like things are starting to finally fall into place, solidifying why you went down this path. So be aware of that. We're either solidifying the decisions we've already made, or the opportunity is going to come through in this new vibration. Financial opportunity, the payouts. There's a lot more coming. Okay, moving along. Oh, for Scorpios and Scorpio risings. Okay, my loves. We're not the problem. But then again, we kind of are. So let's start with this. This is a new moon in our seventh house of relationships and partnerships, legal matters. Venus made a conjunction to Saturn in our fifth house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, children. Simultaneously, Mars is hitting the opposition to Pluto. This is our chart rulers. So in some way, we are the problem. Now, some of us are going to be able to finally focus on something in our career because we don't have to worry about what's been going on in our family anymore. Pluto is going to turn retrograde in the fourth. We don't have to have these same fears and frustrations anymore about what we were worried about a few months ago. Now we can go full steam ahead with our ambition and our drive in regards to a new path that is starting to come through. And it's going to allow for us to finally get closer and more stabilized in overcoming certain burdens. And that's a good thing. Some of us are going to have new opportunities that are going to start to take shape in this vibration based off of the commitment from another. Some of us are going to start to look at what we desire in relationship and start manifesting exactly that. Venus is the ruler of our seventh house of relationships, making a conjunction to Saturn in the North Node in our fifth house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. Some of us have a very specific idea in mind of what we're wanting to achieve in commitments, in relationships moving forward, what we're no longer willing to settle for, whether that is a business partnership, whether that is an actual relationship. We're not going to settle for anything less than what we deserve, because our whole desire right now is to create a new dynamic in the way families and the way our children are seeing the future, because we don't want to be like our parents. We don't want to be like the people that came before. We don't want to stay in those same toxic patterns. So we're finding ourselves in this place of letting go of past burdens, 9 of Wands. Now, the thing is we're not letting go all at once. There's a process to letting go. There are certain things that need to come to light and certain truths that need to be spoken. Now we have the Queen of Swords. For some of you, that truth is telling someone, I don't love you the same way. And it's going to start a new dynamic in the way that partnerships are working, because you don't feel the same way for them. Others are going to be finally telling somebody how you do feel. And it's going to, again, set the stage of a new dynamic of what you desire in partnership. Some of you are going to be starting a new legal situation, new moon in the 7th, about kids, because we have this Page of Cups. So kids, whether they are actual children that you have or the figurative ones that you want in the future, are also in mindset here. Children, what I desire in family, what I hope for moving forward. And for me to be able to understand and achieve these things and let go of certain burdens of the past, that means I have to focus on what I'm manifesting for myself next. We got the Magician card. And this is a manifestation card. The Magician is the alchemist. He can create anything out of anything. He is MacGyver. We are manifesting what we want next, who we want next, what we desire moving forward, what is going to make us the happiest. And for some people, that's going to have a hint of tradition with the Hierophant card. Just a little hint, a little possibility of tradition. But we also have this Empress card. This is the mother. Pluto is in the 4th house of mothers. Some of us are going to see challenging aspects between mothers and fathers, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Some of us are going to be seeing how moving forward, our fathers are going to be reacting based off of the way our mother has treated them. Pluto in the 4th. That's going to be more based off of younger children. But whenever it comes to people that are a little bit older, whenever it comes to this Empress card, many Scorpio risings are starting to see what they want in family, what they're not willing to settle for anymore, especially the Pluto and Scorpio generation. Like, I'm not going backwards. I'm not going to live in that mindset, that timeline. I don't want that. So moving forward, we're setting the dynamic and creating the dynamic of what we want in our families. And we are wanting to transform and overcome past struggles. And for us to be able to overcome those past struggles, it is also committing and manifesting a higher vibration of partnership moving forward, commitments moving forward on all levels. It can be a relationship, it can be an actual business partnership, because we got to be able to afford. There's so much that speaks to a higher vibration of manifestation and commitment in this vibration. Some of you are making actual commitments. Others are seeing the opportunities of what you want and making the decision to start manifesting them now, because now's a great time to do it. I said from October to April 13th, no new relationships. We are past April 13th, babies. You can focus on this now. We can talk about this now. We can look into this now and see how long it takes for certain things to start to manifest and come to light and show itself. Okay, moving along. We are with Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings. All right, my loves, this is a new moon in your sixth house of health. How you care for yourself, how you care for other people, pets, things that are going on in your routines, how you are of service, how you take care of certain things. Your chart ruler is still in your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, and other people. So we are starting new things in our routine. Again, focusing on the best ways to help and handle things for another person. The ruler of this new moon is in your fourth house of home, home life, family, roots, ancestry, and mothers. Some of you are having to deal with something tied to your family, tied to your mom. Some of you are feeling a certain kind of responsibility as a mom to do something different in your routine, or even in your kids' routine, something different in the way that you care for yourself, something different in your health. We're looking at some decisions right now. We're weighing out all the opportunities, knowing that we're tired of feeling so burdened and so frustrated. And we want to start doing something different. We're wanting to go places. We're wanting to experience life differently. Why do I say experience life differently? Sagittarius, babies, the Mars Pluto opposition is between your third and your ninth house. These are education houses. These are travel houses. Some of y'all having a hard time sitting still. I want to move. And I don't mean move as in physically move to a new house. Some of you it might be, but it's like, I want to move around. I want to do certain things. I want to experience certain things. I want to go somewhere. I want to do something. I want to move, quite literally, physically, intuitively. I want to go on an adventure. I want to move. I'm tired of sitting still. So many of you are finally getting to the point that where past burdens that have been weighing you down are finally going to start to really release as we move forward. Now, that's kind of a universal statement, but with the 10 of Wands, it's really coming to terms like we're really getting over certain burdens from the past. Now, with the Mars Pluto opposition, we can be looking at going back to school. And that could be what we want to do in our experience level right now is like, all right, I want to make these decisions so that way I can finally go to university. I can finally finish out my degree. I can finally do these extra things that I wanted to do for so long. Some of you, it just has to do with the idea that I want to move. I want to do something different. I want to travel. I want to experience something. I want to change something. Now, some of you with the Magician card and this Page of Coins, the burden is allowing for new things to be manifested, new things to be thought about, new things to kind of come through. And again, new routines that can have to do with children. Here's what I'm looking at. The Venus Saturn, it's in the fourth right now, but Venus needs to go back into Aries. And that's literally going to happen over the next few days. And that is your fifth house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. The Page of Coins can be about children. It can also mean things regarding new creative opportunities. Many of you are going to be having some decisions to do something different. You have this Two of Coins vibration. And I always look at this Two of Coins. One, the last full moon that we had was a Libra full moon. This is a very Venus symbol right here. Venus rules Libra. But we also have this eclipse energy up here whenever it comes to the moon and the sun. So we've been in a timeline of making a new decision in regards to where we want to pursue things, where we're going to find our heart's desires, where we're going to commit to things, how we're going to commit to them moving forward. We also have this King of Cups vibration moving in. Now, the idea of change for many of you can be very, very overwhelming. So we have the Seven of Cups. And some of what you might be dealing with your home life, with your family, in your shift in routine can feel overwhelming. If you're starting to do something different in your health because you want to connect to new people differently, new moon in the 6th, but Jupiter, your chart ruler, in the 7th house. I want to start going to the gym. I want to start going for walks at the park. I want to start taking my kid to the park so I can do laps around the thing and start doing something different in my routine and my health. But even making the first steps in this direction can feel overwhelming. It doesn't have to be. You're at a point now of making new decisions, but yet better decisions, and how you're going to stabilize you, stabilize your relationships, stabilize your children, stabilize your home life. And one other thing that can have to do with the 6th house is welcoming in a pet. So some of you might be looking at the new, and the stability that's going to come through is not necessarily a person. It's not necessarily a new fitness routine. It's bringing in a new little friend. It's bringing in a dog. It's a cat. It's a bird. I had somebody just get a bird. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's something in this area that creates additional routines in the house, but it's also meant to put more relief and focus in what brings us joy in our home life. Some of you, it's getting new furniture. Some of you, it's doing something different. Some of you, it's going into the garden and again, creating something new that's going to create memories with you and your children. It's not a heavy new moon for you guys, but there's a lot of things regarding experience, learning and teaching, and finding peace at home in a multitude of ways. So do the new things in your routine. Get the dog, build the garden, whatever. Be happy. Do your thing. All right. Moving along, we're going to get to Capricorns and Capricorn risings. All right, my loves, this is a new moon in your 5th house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, children. We can have some things going on with the kids. We can have something going on with a loved one. We can feel the shift in our luck. Now, the ruler of this 5th house new moon is in your 3rd house of short distance travel, communication. I also look at the 3rd house as like marketing and branding, because for you to be good at like communicating things, you also have to know how to brand yourself. That's a good way to look at the 3rd house, is branding. It can be personal branding. We're looking at new commitments. We're looking at new opportunities. We're waiting for something to land in our feet. What I love about this final Mars Pluto opposition is it's in your financial houses. And many of you have been waiting for new financial opportunities to come through. And something tells me with the vibration around this new moon, it can be a shift in luck, and that could be financial luck. And that can be great. New job opportunities, new investment opportunities, new partnership opportunities. Some of you might also have some new expenses based off of the kids. That's a very mundane way that this can happen too. Now, if that's the case, don't be surprised. You can, well, you're going to definitely be surprised. And even if it's a hard situation in the most mundane sense, like you weren't anticipating this new credit card bill that just came in the mail, you didn't even know they had taken a credit card out. There's some lingering lessons that have been dealt with whenever it comes, that needs to be dealt with, I should say that way, based off of what Mars in Leo was doing before. And in the most mundane sense, I suddenly got the image of a sudden unexpected bill that has to do with the kids. But it's not new per se from a new event, but it's an old event coming back around. And we can be very, very frustrated by this, additional expense, the overwhelm, the betrayal. The 3 of Wands is very much, the 3 of Swords is very much a betrayal card, but it doesn't always have to be betrayal. So hear me out on that. The 7 of Coins also speaks to like long-term investments, long-term like seed growth. It is quite literally, it's the process of putting the seeds into the soil and allowing things to grow and simultaneously come to fruition. If something magically shows up surrounding a loved one, surrounding the kids or something like that, then this is a long time coming. And that's why I pulled up that 7 of coins right there, is because the incident, the situation that has created this expense could have happened last year. That's one mundane way that can come through. There can also be, again, something going on with a loved one that has a financial opportunity there. Either you are putting out some extra money to help somebody else get to the next level in something you need to invest. Others are getting some type of opportunity, some business opportunity. We have this 4 of Wands vibration following this 7 of coins. That is finally like, we've been doing all of this work. We planted our seeds months ago, but now we're finally reaching some level of stability. And that opportunity could be coming based off of like who you surrounded yourself with. So who your loved ones are, or that opportunity can be coming literally because of your kids. It's like you've been taking your kid to their spring basketball training or something all year long. And finally, whenever you're at that one right game, it's like you're sitting next to this other parent and come to find out they've got a job opportunity for you. And you weren't anticipating that type of opportunity to come through because your focus in the moment was, this is the basketball game. There's a surprise. And that's why I'm using that as an example. The star card is like, we've been in the harsh energy for a while, and now we're starting to come out of it. We're awakening to the new opportunities. We're awakening to the new epiphanies. This again is a 5th house new moon. So it's a shift in our luck. We're awakening to the new opportunities, and the things that can follow can allow us to achieve new things financially in a way that we haven't been able to achieve before. Now, with this Knight of Cups, this is not working today. So we have the Knight of Cups energy. He's pursuing everything to his heart's desire. But the 9 of coins, this is a boss bitch card. I'm going to plant all of the seeds, grow all of the crops, take them to the market myself, and make my own money. I don't need another person. There's a new opportunity that's going to allow for you to make new money. And that Mars Pluto opposition really speaks to that. We can stop having so much fear around not having enough and put more focus on the partnerships moving forward and how they're benefiting us financially. There's a shift in finances, in luck, in love, in partnerships, in your communication, travel for some, in the branding for so many of you. Now, in the most mundane sense, you could be having some payouts from insurance. You've been having something going on with insurance, something going on with loans. Now that Mars is back in the 8th. And again, we can have some financial things around a loved one. Don't be surprised by that. We can again have those additional insurance bills. Don't be surprised by that. But that's mundane things. The bigger vibration around this energy for you guys in the long term is going to be beneficial. So don't get so stuck on certain levels of frustration if that's what's coming through for you, because all in all, this vibration is going in a very positive direction. Okay, moving along. We're going to get to Aquarius and Aquarius risings. Okay, my loves. This is a new moon in your 4th house of home life, family, roots, ancestry, genetics. Can be genetics, things from the past, long time coming, things with mom and mothers. Now, the Mars Pluto opposition is interesting because Pluto is in your 1st house. And you have been the driving force trying to get something going for so long, and you're getting fed up with being the only person pushing something forward. And now Mars is in the mix. Now, there can be tensions whenever it comes to this weekend, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm just not. But there can also be some regulation because this is the 3rd and final Mars Pluto opposition. And it's like we finally got somebody else that can understand what's been going on and how it's been impacting my family. And by them stepping in, by them coming into the situation, by them going to work on some things, it's going to allow for something very, very new to come through for the family. Now, the Venus Saturn conjunction is in your 2nd house of money. Some of you had to invest some money for this kind of thing to play out. So you've had to spend some money to make something happen. You've had to hire an attorney. You've had to hire someone to do some additional work, to deal with a certain situation, to see the truth exactly as it is needed to be seen, because so far no one has seen quite what you have, because Pluto again has been the direct planet the longest and has seen the most things. And we're finally getting to a turning point where we don't have to have fear anymore. We don't have to have the same level of control. We just have to let some things play out with Pluto in your first. Many of you are starting to have a final conversation or some level of peak conflict in and around this new moon, and it's going to impact the home life. That's the Mars Pluto opposition. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that there can't be frustration, because there can be. I'm anticipating it in some ways, but it's also like a finality in that frustration. But for other people, there's a commitment. Now, I'm saying commitment loosely. I'm going to start with the Lover's card. Can it literally be a relationship commitment? Absolutely. This is one of the first cards that you guys had come out. But for not all of you, it's not necessarily that. Some of you have had to hire something out. You've hired a new business partner, a new manager. You've put trust in someone else. The Venus Saturn conjunction in your second house of money. It's like quite literally, we've spent the money. We're making commitment to spend the money on another person. That's where I'm going with this. Now, for some of you, that could be a contractor, because this is a new moon in the fourth house. We're making a commitment to spend the money on the contractor to do some things around the house, on a legal situation, because Mars is in the seventh house of legal matters, to handle something around the family. And the whole idea is by making this commitment, whether it's a relationship, a partnership, a business contract, whatever it is, it's meant to regulate. See this Temperance card? Regulate the situation. And it's not just a physical regulation in regards to what's going on in the outside, but it's also a temperamental one. I need my head and heart in alignment because I have been feeling out of whack for so long, Queen of Swords vibration. And now I need to not just be the one that's sitting in my truth and knowing the truth, but I also need to see how someone else starts to work with the truth. Knight of Swords. So by making certain commitments, by having certain facts, figures, receipts, plans, I've had something in my mind for so long, I'm willing to invest the money, Three of Coins vibration, for someone else to enact my plans, Knight of Swords vibration. Now, the whole goal in the long run is to reach certain levels of stability. Four of Wands. Now, for some of you, stability is going to be just hiring the painters to come in, put a fresh coat of paint on everything, make it all feel new again. And after everybody can like move their stuff back into their rooms, move the kitchen stuff back into the kitchen, it's just like, this gives me peace. And that's a most mundane way of putting something. Spending the money to have peace of mind, to have stability. Some of you are literally going to be entering contracts this weekend for a new home, a new house, and that's the long-term commitment. You're moving in. You're signing the dotted line. You're closing on the house. You're contracting on the house. We're doing something, again, that speaks to stability. Some of us are doing, again, hiring the contractor, hiring the other side, so that way we can spend more time at home. Stability. We're focused that someone else can handle something with the right direction. That's this Knight of Swords following the Queen of Swords. I'm giving you all the direction. I'm telling you everything I know. I'm telling you everything that needs to happen. Now I need you to handle business. Knight of Swords. There's no emotions here. Yes, we started with the Lover's card, but that doesn't mean emotion. Commitments don't have to always be the most emotional. For some, they will be. We're going to be making a commitment with, certain people to start coming in to take care of mom or grandma. Because again, we've had a lot of health things. It's going to cost you some money, but the peace of mind of having somebody sit with mom or grandma overnight, dad, uncle overnight, or while you're at work is worth every dime. But we're at an edge of no longer wanting to just be the only person dealing with it. And we need someone else to start pursuing it, start taking an action, start working through something. And that has to do with Mars moving forward. Now, some of you, the truth is you're not going to support certain people in your family the same way. Pluto's about to go retrograde in your first house. Your opinion over these next few weeks of how certain things are going with certain people is going to change. And you're, again, not going to want to support certain people the same way. And that can even be a family member. And that can be telling them in this new moon, you have to move out. You have to go on another path because I'm not going to support you anymore. And that can be another part of this vibration. There's so many levels and ways that it can come through. But there's big things around the household, the other side, and money, and the most dominant parts of the theme. So be aware of that. Okay, moving along. For Pisces and Pisces risings. All right, my loves. Now, excuse me. This is a new moon in your third house of short distance travel, siblings, communication, marketing, branding. There can be certain things that we are pushing to be done with a car. Quite literally, it can be with a car. Now, why do I say that? The third house can be a travel house. Venus and Saturn made a conjunction in your first house. So in a lot of ways, you can be pushing for a decision. You could be pushing for certain people to be held accountable and be responsible. Now, that can have to do with a sibling. That can have to do with a neighbor. That can have to do with a car. Considering afterwards, Venus is going to move into your second house of money, you could be making a commitment to something that's going to cost you some money. Now, that could be a small amount. That could be a big amount. The last lunation that we had, the full moon in Libra, was also a financial one. So we still speak to some of the decisions that you guys can be making, whether you like it or not, can have to do with big financial aspects. Even if it's not in the exact moment. You might not be cutting a check during the new moon, but that doesn't mean that you're not having to deal with something. And there's a lot of work that needs to be dealt with. Now, some people, they're not going to like that you have been holding them accountable. They're not going to like that you're not just going to let them do what they want to do. They're going to feel judged and so frustrated. The thing is, if you don't push for things to change, if you don't push for things to be different, if you don't push for the work to be done, then they're never going to face the things that they need to face. And that first takes me to this 8 of Swords. Now, the Venus Saturn is in your first house. You are pushing for accountability. You are pushing for a decision. You feel compelled to take on this responsibility, that this is the right thing to be doing, because everything that Saturn has been preparing you for has almost led to this moment since Saturn has moved into Pisces in 2023. It's led to you reaching these levels. Now, some people are struggling with the fact that you're pushing for so much that they don't want to face because they would rather stay stuck in the clouds. Now we have this hangman energy. They've been doing something for so long, and the more you push for them to face certain things, they feel like you're judging them. Oh yeah, see how this little theory keeps coming along? We have the hangman, we have the judgment, we have the 8 of Swords. You stayed in a certain place. You didn't deal with certain things because you had other things going on for a long time. You had other things on your mind, other responsibilities. You had other things on your plate, a lot of overwhelm with the 7 of Cups, past overwhelm and current overwhelm going on. You didn't push for certain things to happen for a real long time. But since last fall, we had our first eclipse in Pisces. We just had the Venus retrograde that ended in Pisces, a Mercury retrograde that ended in Pisces. And Mercury rules that seventh house of relationships, partnerships, and legal matters. Something either tied to the family or tied to another person or tied to a legal matter, tied to a partnership, tied to anyone and everyone else. Figure it out. You know who you're dealing with. And once it fell on your plate, it didn't matter how much everyone wanted to stay away from the decision. Once it fell on your plate, the judgment was necessary. The accountability was necessary. The desire to put something straight and get it fixed and get it handled became very, very necessary. And you don't give a shit if they feel like you're judging them. You didn't do anything to them for a very, very long time. And now the certain things that fell onto your plate, you're realizing that there's a reason to make these hard decisions and push for accountability. Now, for some of you, this is going to have to do with kids. This is going to have to do with a loved one. This is going to speak to some new happiness with the Page of Cups. But there's a lot of work that is going to follow, and that's the bigger thing. That's the bigger thing. The Eight of Coins. They didn't want to face certain things. Other people didn't want to be held accountable. Other people didn't want to do what they needed to do. But now, it doesn't matter that they didn't want to do it. They have no other choice but to handle something, but to handle their business, but to do the work. But you have work to do also. And by you pushing for these things to finally be handled, you are also committing to the process, to the work, to this new long-term vibration of where you're stepping into. Now, in the moment, you might not realize how big of a step you're making. That's okay. That doesn't mean it's not a big step, because it is. And what's going to start to shift as we move forward is going to be a shift in health. It's going to be a shift in routine. Some of you, whatever you're dealing with is actually about your health. Venus and Saturn in the first, you are having to realize something about your health and the new work that you have to start doing in your health to start getting better. You got to get off the sugar. You got to start making the changes. You're not getting any younger. So that means working out in a whole new way. And you're going to be a little slow with how you do that at first because you ain't done it in a while. There's something new that you have to do. For some of you, it is holding the other side accountable. For some of you, it is holding yourself accountable. And you have to do the work too. Be aware of that. It fell onto your plate. It's been situated and divvied out to everyone. Certain things have come to light. And there's, for many of you, a decision that you have to make. It can be impacting your siblings. It can mean having to spend some additional money. It can mean a shift at work. It can also be a shift in your physical health in that part of your routine. But if you want to get better and reach a certain level of achievement and personal happiness, we can't continue to stay stuck in the old way of doing things because it's not an option anymore. We have to try to do the new. Okay. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for all of the shares. Thank you for the support. Thank you for tuning in. The cards will get posted on Facebook and Instagram. I will talk to everybody very, very soon. Subscribe.